In a world where survival hangs by a thread, true friendship can mean the difference between life and death. Welcome to Movie Macaw. Today, we're diving into the thrilling adventure of 8 Below, where a group of courageous sled dogs faces extreme challenges in the icy wilderness. Imagine being stranded for more than 100 days, battling the brutal cold and the odds stacked against you. How far would you go for the ones you love? If you're excited to explore this epic tale of loyalty and survival, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more incredible movie recaps. Let's get started. At the North Pole, the temperature almost reaches -50 degrees Celsius. Professor Davis accidentally slips down the cliff. He is sucked into the frozen lake. His guide tries to calm him down because if he panics, he will die. They couldn't come to the rescue because the thin ice was rapidly crumbling. Davis reaches out to the ice, but there is no way he can get out of the water. The man is almost drowning. With this temperature, he will die quickly in just a few minutes. Jerry and his sled dogs eventually come nearby. Sherry has one of his dogs, Maya, take a rope and crawl near Davis. Maya makes it and she puts the rope around the professor. Sherry and the dogs pull the professor out. Although he was rescued, his whole body was frozen solid. He gets him as warm as possible. The dogs put their best effort and they drag the sled across the thick snow. They dare not stop. They use all their strength to save the owner's life. The two of them now rest on the backs of the lucky dogs. Fortunately, with the dogs' efforts, the two of them safely returned to the base. Davis is taken to safety. The staff members examine him and try to treat his frostbites. The man has to be transferred to a hospital. Soon, a helicopter lands and takes all of the humans away. However, the dogs have to be left behind. One of the dogs escapes its chains, but Jerry has to put him back in chains just so they don't get lost. Even though Jerry does not agree with leaving the dogs to be taken later, he has to go with the rest of the crew. His friend Katie knows how much he loves his dogs. She assures him that they will return soon to get the dogs to safety as well. Later, Jerry wakes up in a hospital. Thankfully, he is in a good condition and the only thing on his mind is flying back in Antarctica to get the sled dogs. Having a talk with the leading officer, he is going to be faced with some bad news. The weather conditions are terrible and there is a storm unfolding. There is no way anyone can go back there, let alone they can't risk going back just for the sake of the dogs. That is not a good enough reason for Jerry, who wants to at least give it a try. On the other hand, he is powerless and he can't get anyone to help him out by providing him with a helicopter. The only thing he can do for now is wait. Even though that means that he is going to be emotionally tortured, each minute he will be thinking about the dogs. Back in Antarctica, the dogs are waiting patiently. However, it seems like there is no savior coming to rescue them. All they can do is hope under the unforgiving conditions of cold and snow. Additionally, the dogs have nothing to eat and they are chained. That makes it impossible for them to go around and seek for food. The wind gets stronger and stronger. One of the dogs manages to escape. Then all of the pack draws power from that event and they help each other escape one by one. However, the oldest of the dogs, named Old Jack, is not willing to get up. The only thing he does is waiting for his death for the next few days. Maya tries to motivate him to get up, but Jack is not convinced as if he knew that his end is near. Seeing the rest of the pack running around, Maya has no choice but to go with them. Soon the pack of dogs see a herd of gulls landing on the snow. The sight of them is almost like a buffet to them. However, the dogs scare the gulls and they fly away. Despite, Maya is not discouraged and she sneaks behind the gulls. The dogs attack them and they manage to get some of them. After being hungry for a few days, the dogs have finally something to eat. Some of them even become a bit aggressive towards the others because they want their food to themselves. 50 hard days have already passed and the dogs are still alone, trying to survive in conditions that no human would be able to withstand. One night, the pack decides to chill and observe the night sky. At that moment, the North Sealess phenomenon takes place and the dogs are very interested in it. They use the reflections it makes on the ground to play with. The following days, one of the dogs is extremely tired. It collapses on the snow. The rest of the dogs run near him. They all stand the night with that particular dog, refusing to let him alone. When the next day successes the night, the dogs have been covered in snow. The fallen dog cannot get up. The rest of the dogs try to bring him to his senses, but to no avail. Things have been very rough. Some of the dogs want to move on, but one of them, Max, decides to stay back with his friend. Maya gives Max one last glance, but Max and the other dog are hard to pinpoint within the heavy layers of the storm. Then she has to move on along with the rest of the dogs. Soon, the pack will receive an unexpected present. The dogs find a new abandoned and unguarded base. They run inside it and they are able to find some food. Eventually, after all the hardships, they can fill their bellies with some food. The next day, things appear to be a bit brighter. Maybe the dogs have a better chance now for their luck to be turned around. Meanwhile, in America, Jerry is still trying to get some people to help him. However, he is met with resistance because people do not believe that the dogs will still be alive. Right next, Jerry meets with Professor Davis and they remember the old times. When Professor Davis gets some time alone, he stares at a picture of Jerry's dogs. These are the same dogs that saved him and the same dogs that were left behind by humans. In the meantime, Max wanders around and he accidentally finds a dead orca that has been washed up. He approaches it and starts eating some of its body out of a sudden. Shepherd's seal emerges out of the orca's body. The seal has been hiding in it. Right then, Maya hears Max and she is able to spot him. The two of them see each other again. The rest of the dogs join them. They see the seal eating the orca. Max approaches the orca again and he cuts a piece of meat out of it. The seal sees him and gets angry because it thinks Max is stealing its food. Max runs away and the seal runs after him. That opens a window of opportunity for the rest of the dogs. They run near the orca and start eating. Meanwhile, another seal has been following Maya from below the ice. When it gets the perfect timing, the seal emerges from the freezing cold water and bites Maya, holding on to her leg. The rest of the pack comes to her aid and they have to fight two seals now. Nonetheless, they manage to win the fight and scare the seals away. Maya is injured and she is having a hard time getting up. Max tries to help her out. Eventually, Maya gets up and she continues walking with the rest of the pack. After eating a bit more food in order to fill up, the dogs continue on their journey. While Maya is able to walk a few miles, she has to stop because her injured leg is not allowing her to continue moving forward. She lays on the ground. Max sits down next to her and refuses to leave her side. Soon, the rest of the dogs join them and they stand by her side. The night that comes is very difficult for the dogs, but they still manage to survive and live yet another day. Max goes on the hunt and he brings a gull back for Maya to eat. Maya refuses to eat it because now Max will have nothing to eat for himself. However, two other dogs bring more gulls to the team and they leave the food rest in front of Max. In return, Max grabs a gull and he places it before Maya. The rest of the dogs grab their gulls and they walk away, but Max stays with Maya and lays next to her. Max behaves altruistically and he tries to keep Maya warm. Suddenly, Max gets his ears up because he just heard something. In another part of the land, Jerry and his friends have arrived back to the base where they left the dogs. They check the chains and obviously realize that the dogs have escaped. Jerry is disappointed because there is no way for him to know what has happened to them. Suddenly, Jerry takes a look at the horizon and he sees the remaining dogs. The dogs run towards the humans and they jump on them. Both the humans and the dogs are very happy. They are reunited. The team takes the dogs inside their vehicle, but Max refuses to get in and he runs away. He tries to get Jerry's attention. Jerry goes after him and he finds Maya lying on the snow. Jerry is worried about her. He cries for her because she is very weak. However, he is happy to see her open her eyes. Jerry takes her into his arms and carries her back to the base. Professor Davis and the rest of the team are happy to see that most of the dogs have survived and they are going to be fine after they are treated properly. Jerry puts Maya in the vehicle as well and Max is the last one to jump in. Being together, the team is finally ready to depart. In the end, it's not just about survival, it's about the bonds we forge and the lengths we go to for those we love. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through 8 Below. If this heartwarming story of loyalty and courage touched your heart, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Movie Macaw for more captivating movie recaps and analyses. Your support helps us bring you more content you love. Until next time, keep the spirit of adventure alive.